We think it's very important that all of us as citizens and stewards of the earth are doing all that we can for sustainability and also for protecting valuable resources. So instead of putting plastic into a landfill, where 79% of it goes globally, 12% roughly gets incinerated, or just 9% gets recycled. For us, it's very important that all of that plastic gets collected and is recycled and finds another use, another valuable use.
Yeah, the vision for zero plastic waste on our planet Earth really stems from the concern that I've had spending 30 years in the plastic industry and seeing plastic being discarded without people really taking much care in what happens to that plastic once it's used.
Our planet Earth is a manufacturer of high recycled PET or rPET content packaging using a completely vertically integrated process, the first of its kind anywhere in the world.
Our plant is really broken down into two specific processes. The first is the recycling process, where we take baled PET water bottles and soda bottles, as well as thermoform containers, and we separate those from other waste materials, and we process that plastic into what's called a dirty flake.
So when we're fully operational for phase one of the plant, we'll be utilizing somewhere between 80 and 85 million pounds a year of post-consumer baled PET. And then that finished product, once it's gone through the sorting, the washing, and the decontamination process, will end up in three primary products that we'll be producing. It will be extruded sheet, thermoform containers, and preforms for the beverage industry.
The dirty flake then enters the Krones system, which is the heart and soul of the technology of our company. And we wash the flakes and we get all the surface contamination off of the flakes, and then we take that to a decontamination reactor that's also provided by Krones, and we can actually boost the molecular weight of the material or the intrinsic value and provide food-grade packaging from that supply.
When we started to look for the suppliers of the wash line, we knew that there were a couple of suppliers that came out of Europe that were well known around the world. And as I was Googling one day, I actually saw Krones come up. And I asked my business partner, Joe, who knows the packaging industry, if he had heard of Krones before. He said, absolutely. They've got a great reputation. I called Germany, and Dr. Thomas Friedlander picked up. It was around 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening in Germany. And we had a nice conversation for about half an hour, and he told me that he would pass me off to his U.S. colleague who's responsible for sales in the U.S. of the Krones PET recycling equipment.
This project for Bob and I started about 7 years ago. We first sat down and we really were taking a look at all the different technologies that were being used around the world to recycle polyester. And we didn't realize at first that Krones actually had been working on this in various parts of the world. So we did some investigation, and we actually went and saw a couple of facilities that were operating Krones equipment, and we were quite impressed by how mechanically sound the equipment was and how very little manual labor was involved. And so then about 5 years ago, we entered into a more formal agreement with Krones and got into the design phase of our project.
We've gotten to know Krones very well over the last 5 or 6 years, all the way from our German investor making contact with Volker Krones and Christoph Klink, and others in Germany, to the contacts that we have here between Mike Scroblin, John Larson, Holger Beckman. We've been at this for a long time, and we have gotten to know the Krones folks, the Krones family, very well.